Absolutely appreciate it. Other than sex, I wonder, why would a man even need a woman today? Women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They're in competition with men. They don't want to be wives and mothers. Some want to get married, but they don't want to live in that proper position of life. Because the only purpose of marriage is to have a family. And that's been known forever. And so if you don't want to have children, there is no need to get married. And so I was wondering, why would a man even get married today? I never thought I'd see the day when women would come out of her natural role and be like a man. Even though she hate that role. When she's with a man that's weak, she hate him. But if he try to be strong, she'll stop it. I never imagined that. You're seeing good destroyed and abnormal is presented as normal. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. How you doing? Appreciate you tuning in and jumping in from Joel's chat. American Anchor Baby, we're here on this fine Wednesday. What a fine Wednesday. Amazing shows. Did you get any work done? Dang. Hopefully you got some work done listening to the Bond Network. So interesting. Very, very, very nice. So appreciate you tuning in now. Continuing it, you're talking about soda crackers in my chat. You're saying soda crackers. You're confused. What's a soda cracker? You're like, Anchor Baby. What's a soda cracker? Is that an Anchor Baby thing? Is that a Canadian thing? Now, I'm sure not everybody's confused. I bet you this is one of those East Coast, West Coast things. Soda versus pop. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, all of a sudden, some people on one side of America look at Americans like they're aliens. They're like, pop? Why are you saying pop? It's a soda cracker. Have you ever had a saltine? Oh, do you call this, what do you call it? Boba too? You call it boba? Hey, I'm in California. Maybe that's what we call it now. We call it boba. Boba is what goes in the bubble tea. Anyways. Look, these are just colloquialisms, things that we call stuff, but we know what we're talking about. A little cracker. You're talking about soda crackers in my chat. I may have mentioned a little something about my childhood growing up. It may even be a little thematic, considering all the talk of who's at fault. Who's at fault when the kids go crazy? I was a kid when I was a kid, obviously. And I had my soda crackers. You ever had a Skyflake? Do you know what a Skyflake is? If you don't know what a Skyflake is, you gotta grow up. Grow up, catch up. Test is my... Let me know, chat, if my mic is sounding a little funny. Levels look good here. Look, I used to take the soda crackers and I used to bite them into the shape of a gun. Sorry, officer. Thanks. Appreciate that. Number one in the chat. I used to bite my saltines into the shape of little guns, pistol. Sometimes you could get the long Skyflakes, and you can make a little rifle, something like a M. I didn't know back then. I was probably chiseling out the shape of an M14. I didn't know, but it's what it looked like. Amazing. Appreciate you tuning in, folks. We're about to get into some stuff here. Speaking of crime and exciting, especially for the ego, and thrilling, exciting cases and criminal stories that get the mind going and wondering, is justice served here? You may have heard of this 𝒔𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Story. I actually want to touch on it, so we'll be getting into that today. I got some interesting stuff about power, women, abortion, and the Pharisees. So hopefully we'll have time to get into all of it. You're watching American Anchor Baby, 888-775-3773. If you want to jump on the line there, call and get something off your chest, whatever you want to talk about. Much appreciated. Okay. You already heard me say it, 𝒔𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Do you know about this, I think, Romanian man, maybe? It was a lazy, sunny day in July. A group of friends head to Apple River in Wisconsin, Minnesota, to enjoy a day of tubing on the river, lazing on the river, maybe a couple of drinks. Some of them were underage, but it's the times... The lazy times on the river, enjoying themselves. Friends, a couple of friends, really, what can you say? Besides them, just want to have a little bit of fun. 17-year-old Isaac Schumann would have never guessed that would be the last day of his life. I know, dramatic. And I have this video of the incident, and I'm still kind of thinking about how we'll do this, but I think we'll watch the video. It is viewer discretion advised. I've blurred a whole bunch. There really is only a couple of bloody moments, totally blurred. That being said, the subject matter, it's the energy of the video. It's chaotic. They're yelling. But we bleeped it out because the sun is still out, folks. It is maybe disturbing subject matter. No one dies in this video. I'm just letting you know what's up, okay? Trigger warning, as they say. But whatever. Isaac Schumann, 17-year-old. The ages range between 17 and 24. This group was at Apple River, Wisconsin. I do have the video. I think we're going to get into it here, but let me just lay this out. The state versus the defense, there are two stories presented. The story of a man looking for his snorkeling gear, looking for his iPhone that his friend said that she lost in the river, and an incidental confrontation with this group that ended up deadly, but ultimately was self-defense. Or the story of an aggressive man who had been drinking, humiliated and angered by the taunting of this youthful group, took extrajudicial action in his escalation of the encounter. I think this one might... I think this one... Is this the stabby story? Yes, Costin. How you doing, sir? Or ma'am? Appreciate you being here. I appreciate that, Rose. Right on. Hadn't heard about this story. Interesting. We're going down to the river. Okay, so 𝒔𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Sounds like some people haven't heard of it. I told you about the two stories presented. This happened in 2022. A couple of years have passed. The trial of which started at the beginning of April here. He's being accused of being the aggressor, 𝒔𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. He's being accused of being the aggressor. He had a knife. And there are a couple details here that are interesting, namely the details in contention that are being fought about is his aggression, his fear levels, his anger levels at different parts of the situation here. We're going to try and see if we can even do a little video breakdown. As well as his lying about the knife and where he got it from. The aggression of the what's known as the Schumann group, the group of the 17-year-olds to 24-year-olds. Their actions, another point of contention here. And what else? Right, and whether it was self-defense. Okay. So video of deadly fight that led to Apple River stabbing. And I think... I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about how I want to do that. I think this is how we'll do this. We're going to watch the video. We're going to watch the video. That's how we got to do this, I think.
What is he on?
So here is 𝒔𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. You see him at this river. And the video starts with the cameraman saying, what is he on? They're confused. Okay, a lot of it, I'll try and corroborate what I know from the testimonies in the court here, in the trials here, from these CBS articles and this NBC article with some of the moments here, okay? So 𝒔𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 running up to the group here, and they're confused.
Whoa! Get away! Oh, God! We up! What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Get away from us!
Get away from us, okay? You can hear that clearly in the video. Obviously, the crowd is confused. You hear the cameraman say he is on camera tripping, or maybe he's just about to say that. My apologies. Get away from us. He's not even responding. Let me throw this in. This is from the testimonies that just happened. Testimony of 𝒔𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. I don't remember them saying that. So that might add to the confusion. Who is this, they say? He's there for this phone. This lack of communication between the two is an interesting thing I wanted to point out on the source of confusion, at least at the outset of this situation.
What? What's going on with y'all homie? He's on camera.
Tripping.
He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say?
It's unclear what he says here. If you're curious at all, I've watched this, so I'm just giving you my play-by-play. So now you hear the walk away. The confrontation is like still unclear. It's still unclear. Why is he here?
Yeah, what the hell?
This video is so surreal. I think I should just let it play. It's just so long. It's so surreal. I think I'll just let the last part play where it's so surreal. Let's just keep going. Apologies. Don't worry. We'll get through this. We're going to get through this, folks.
Who is this? Yes. For the culture. Who is that? For the culture. Who is that?
It's at this point this other crowd comes in. Let me jump in with some stuff I learned from the courts and the trial and the testimony here, which may clear something up. Who's this group? Okay, this is actually a second group that doesn't know the initial Schumann group, the group who had one of them die. The man who came up with the snorkeling gear, his name is 𝒔𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. This other group is known as the Carlson group in the trial. So this is a different group.
Who the hell is this? Go. It doesn't matter.
This other group is telling him to leave. Get your effing A out of here. At this point, the taunting comes in. This guy's looking for little girls. Okay, you're following.
He said he was looking for little girls. You're looking for little girls? Yeah. That's exactly what he said. Weirded us out. I even have that part on camera. That What the hell is this guy's problem, bro? We trying to have fun. If he's gonna claim you, he's gonna claim you. We don't want this one.
Let's get real heated here. Two groups telling him to leave. Seems like that other group that just came had seen the commotions. It just, to me, it seems like that, like, yeah, I'm with the first group. Get out of here. In the trial, and you come to find out they had no prior connection. This smirk right here is another part of the trial here. That's the state, the prosecution here, has pointed out. If he was truly in fear, they're saying, then they asked him about this smirk in one moment. And they asked him about this smirk, and they asked him what he felt in this moment. He said fear. And they were trying to cast doubt to that. Interesting moments of the case. We're trying to move a little quicker here. It's where it all goes crazy. This is where the stabbing starts, so, you know, be aware. It's blurred and all that. He falls over. Okay, let's just watch.
What the fuck? He's dying! He's dying, bro! What? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Are we serious? Is it real? Oh my god! Who is that? Oh my god!
Who is that? And I think I'll stop it there. It gets more disturbing where he just... It's not really that disturbing. I mean, personally, I'm just going to stop because I'm on the air. I'm personally not bothered, but because of that, I may not have the same filters others do. So we're going to do a little bit of, let me see. What's it called? We're going to have some foresight here or something. Because the way it ends is it starts turning red around him, the cameraman. And you could, one of his friends beside him, you saw the one, probably the one holding his head saying, "What the F?" Informs him there's blood around him. He says, "That's not blood. That's not blood." He's incredulous that he's bleeding. It turns out he too was stabbed. The one you saw, it was blurred but buckled over, lost his life. And that's the story. That's how it goes. And I told you about the two stories here. He's being accused of being the aggressor here. And the two stories, right, presented. He was looking for his phone, looking for snorkeling gear. You saw him with the snorkeling gear in his hand. You also saw the confusion. I don't know if you missed it. When he had the knife out, he had it low. So that was another point in the trial. He had this knife low. It wasn't quite clear. Why didn't he put his knife up and say, "I have a knife. I will defend myself"? The prosecution opened their April, Monday. They're opening. Their whole thing was basically he should have walked away. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 should have walked away. That's a really tough one, some are saying. So the trial has gone forth a bit. In fact, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒍𝒔 did have he took the stand. But before we get to that, one of the friends in the group here took to the stand. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒍𝒔. And 19 years old, testified he was with the group. And he testifies how he just weirdly sprinted at us. It just made us all super uncomfortable. And when you couple it with the video, I think this is my take on the sequence of events, and I think this adds to it, is there was like a lack of communication that what he was doing. And these people feel this group, the Schumann group, feeling egged on, feeling mighty, feeling whatever it is, felt fine getting confrontational with someone they were uncomfortable with. I think the uncomfort may have been real. He ran at them, and in Nicolae Mu's testimony, he says that he tripped. That initial moment where he was sprinting, and it was so weird that he fell on them. He says he was just tripped. He just tripped. He said he saw a phone that looked similar to the one he was looking for. He said that that group, he alleges he saw them holding a similar phone. So he was going to that area to investigate. He trips. He drops the snorkeling gear. Now he's looking for that. And they're at that moment, and you hear it in the video, they're like, "Who is this? Leave. You got to go." In the trial, some of the group testified saying that they said, "You got 10 seconds." I didn't hear it in the video. But it's at that, we're trying to kind of put the timeline here, right? And it's at that moment they're telling him, "Leave." So I think that this communication, the discomfort, I think is something that happened. And I think it really did turn into just this confrontation. And when as confrontations go, if you ask me, let's see if we can move a little quicker. 𝒏𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 testified they were calling Mu a pedophile because they had heard him say something about little girls. So this whole accusations of little girls and all that has, in my opinion, low credibility once 𝒏𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕 and the other friend, the cameraman, I forget his name, started with a J, testified about this accusations. And the other buddy said he only said it, but he doesn't even know if it's true. It was a lot of doubt to those accusations, in my opinion, from the testimony I saw. I'm trying to move fast because I didn't really want to get into all that deep into this. I'll tell you this. My personal take is, he shouldn't be charged. He shouldn't be charged with this. It turned into a mutual combat. It turned into a self-defense situation. The exact moment where it turns into a situation was when Mu pushed up one of the people that arrived. I call it the busybody group, the Carlson group. That was like, "F you, you leave those people alone." One of them put their hands on him, and he says that he was just pushing her and getting her away from him. That moment, he was pushed to the ground, slapped in the face. You saw it in the video. That he gets up, he has the knife in his hand. People are still coming at him. And I almost want to play that part again because you even almost hear it in the background, but it's so... You go watch the video yourself and you make your own conclusion. But in my opinion, I hear someone say, "He has a knife." And in the excitement of the moment, someone charges at him. He's getting up. He has the knife pointed up. It's just like, pff, boom, that's easy peasy going in you. I don't think he should be charged. But if he is charged, if he is going to be charged, if we're going to be like nitpicky or something, then so should the surviving people. So should the other group. Because then what's the charge, right? Is the charge this unruly conduct that escalated into combat? They both did that, in a sense. Anyways, check it out yourself if you care. I thought it was somewhat interesting, kind of exciting video. Wake up. Something to watch here, kind of thrilling, but people are incensed about it. They're saying, "Nicolae Mu, this guy should not, there's nothing, he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong." I think you can do quite a bit wrong. I think some of the interesting things about this case for me is the focus. They focus on if he had the knife hidden or something. Well, if you're in a defense situation, you don't want to, I don't know if you should be taking out your knife saying, "Hey, I'm going to attack. And you're outnumbered. You have all these people around you, you're outnumbered. "I got a knife. Hey, back up. You don't want me to use this." I don't know about that. If you're going to take out a knife, you better be willing to use it. If I'm willing to use a knife, I want to be effective against a group. Anyways, you get me. I'm just thinking out loud. Look, another thing too, they also focus on the defense focuses on the Schumann group saying, "Hey, they were taunting him, calling him a a rapist, a child pedophile, whatever. And that too is mutual combat. I don't think when you're fighting, your words are part of it too. Those words can get a crowd on your side, and that's a self-defense situation. Anyways, rambling at this point, I'm thinking the man shouldn't be charged. It turned into a self-defense situation that the youthful group didn't expect to be in, but they should have expected it. And their short-sightedness is a real shame. Egging on somebody, you don't know what someone is capable of. And it turned into a self-defense situation. It just did. It turned into a mutual combat situation. But if you're gonna go after Mew, you gotta go after the survivors as well. What do y'all think? Exciting video until you see entrails in the water. What's truly incredible is it's so surreal. It's like it was like directed. It was almost like fake. It was almost like out of a movie. The guy starts, he's like, "Who's this? Who's this?" And then the video ends with him saying, "Who's this?" And I'm not even trying to be funny there. It really is like a movie. He's like, "Who's this?" Like you just didn't expect life to hit you that fast. And they leave his friend, they leave their friend there, dying in the water, and he's just filming. He's just filming. Anyways, he didn't actually need his knife. He outweighs most of the kids I saw. You may be making a humorous comment, JB, but that's kind of this at the center of this case is, did he go too far? And I think you can make a case for that. I really think you can, in fact. I think you could be a mad guy who starts a situation. And I think, in my opinion, you can even be legally liable for something like that. You don't want to encourage those kinds of things, but there's priorities here, and I think two things are butting heads, and the basic fundamental reality of two crowds fighting, you can't take a side. You just can't take a side with mutual combat, because if you do, then you especially if you're the law, if you take a side on mutual combat, you then sully the law for all future people who really have the God-given right to defend themselves. So that's what's butting heads: decency and anger. I think that's mama, though. I think the government and the law wants to be mama in this case and look at his smirk and say, "You got mad and you shouldn't have. You went too far." Yeah, it's just too late now. You're at this point, the fundamentals of self-defense is just too important, in my opinion, right? If you're gonna nitpick, though, and you're gonna be like, "Hey, you went too far," then so did the group. And jail for everybody. Okay, I think we're happy with that. Tie a bow on that one. Incredible. 888-775-3773. It's just crazy, right? The river turns red. That day is not what you expected. But we're really close to that when you're not when you're not the type of person. What did Sean say the other day? Was it Sean? It sounded like some of that good old wisdom. I bet you there's a song like that. Well, who said it? It was church. I heard it. I heard that wisdom and it stuck. Someone said it. They said something like, when someone is angry in a situation, you got to be the one to bring the calm. You got to make it your job. Oh, Joel's mic is on the desk? Nice. Respect. Showing respect to Joel. But disrespecting the person who made my mic that says Nick. But yeah, you got to be the one. I mean, imagine if you were that type of person. Nothing like I don't think anything like this could happen to you. And you would still defend yourself. Joel got a vanity mic too. Yeah, I need mine. Hold up. I'm going to get it. What a mess. Vanity, Kevin. They say that is, I think Al Pacino say that once. That is the greatest sin. Okay. Amazing. I think that's the Mew case. I think I want to move on here. And the way I want to open this up, how do I do this? How we going to do this? Yeah, it seems like, well, they found out. Next story. Yeah, it seems like actually that may have been more cut and dry. Doesn't seem like people are, it doesn't seem like people are too confused about this one. Is this one a mystery? Maybe I was trying too hard. Get everybody going. I don't got it in me. I don't got it in me like Joel. I bet you all of you didn't even get any work done. I got my work done. I don't know about y'all. But I bet you guys were plugged into the Bond network. So I was giving my little try there with this, with the Mew case. Hey, maybe the reporting was just on it. I want to give you a little, not a quote, it's a thread here on Twitter. It was written here posted here by Aaron McIntyre. Aaron McIntyre. He's a host and columnist at The Blaze. And he's a tapper of signs. You may know him. I've been following him on Twitter for some time now. He's a smart guy, if I remember. I just can't seem to remember. I know Aaron McIntyre, okay? He's a tapper of signs, like he says. I'm remembering what he does, actually. If you know that meme, it's like a Simpsons meme where the bus driver taps the sign to remind someone of something. Aaron McIntyre keeps posting a meme. It's a variation of that, except the sign says something like, the LGBT stuff is it's full of people who want to do evil things to your children. And so he just likes to tap the sign and remind people. Anyways, what an intro for Aaron McIntyre. I want to talk about a thread he posted. Conservatives are like heroin addicts, he says. The minute they get a little bit of power, they immediately want to spend it on the first issue that comes to mind. The left understands that power is a currency, and the first thing you should buy with it is more power. I want to get into that a little bit to kind of open up this segment I got on power. I think you might find it interesting. There's things in the news right now about abortion. They're saying they're taking the laws back to the 1800s. The women are putting them back in chains or something. At least the ladies at the skim are worried. But first, let's take a call. I have a caller here. We got John out of Texas. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Nick, man, I won't hold you up. That next segment sounds like really interesting.
No problem. We got an hour and a half, my friend. Help me out. I'm joking. You're good. Talk about whatever you like to talk about.
Well, like you mentioned Al Capone.
Yes.
Al Capone.
Did I?
You know, when they caught Al Capone, he had like written a letter, and on his letter he was like, "I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm totally justified everything I did. I didn't do nothing wrong." And you know, he was a snake. So
Al Capone?
Yeah, man.
He said he did nothing wrong?
That in his letter, he did nothing wrong, and that's people. That's how we are. We think that we don't do anything wrong. We're completely justified.
I think you're right, man. That it's a humorous connection there, but yeah. I think you're essentially correct. Al Capone. What was he accused of? I mean, I know he was like the gangster and all that, and but what was like the charges? I guess they said he was a crime boss.
Murder.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, everything.
Crime boss.
Extortion.
I guess they didn't have RICO back then. RICO is that law to catch gang bosses for the crimes of their, I think, something like that. It was hard to catch crime leaders because they could always say, well, I didn't do that crime. That was somebody else. Something like that. So Al Capone denied it to the end. Don't we all? No, not all. Maybe not all, but many. Right on, John.
Nick, man, great show, man.
Right
great
on,
show.
sir.
I want to keep it short because
no problem,
you
man.
sound like you're getting into a good segment there. I wanted to listen to that.
Yes, sir. Call me again, John.
All right, Nick. Peace.
Take care. Oh, Hake, I think you're right. That's funny. I was wondering if I said Al Capone. I'm like, when did I say Al Pacino? I said Al Pacino. But interesting points. All the very same, don't you think? Al Pacino, he's the devil. He was the devil in the one with, see, this is one, what's the movie? Come on, help me out, folks. Al Pacino, we got Keanu Reeves. It's so good. Vanity Kevin. He says Vanity Kevin. He's like never let him see you coming. Never let him see you coming, Kevin. Come on. Who knows it? What the heck? I can't remember it. Now I'm dedicated. Now I'm dedicated, and I'm going to wait until the chat tells me. Now we're waiting. Heech. It's not Heech. Devil's Advocate. Let's go. Thank you, sir. I'm feeling a little bit like Al Pacino. He was the devil in that movie. And I know that your host, the American Anchor Baby, he calls himself American. Can I say a side note? I never sensed any vitriol in Hake's saying in my intro there that some people think they hear. Anyways, out of all the movies that I know, which I don't know many good ones, I call myself the American Anchor Baby. This one's, I know about this one. Keanu Reeves took a big pay cut to let Al Pacino play this role. It's actually such a good movie. Say hello. Or was it De Niro? What? What are you talking about? De Niro took the pay cut. But De Niro wasn't that? Anyways, go watch it. I don't know what we're saying. Why are we talking about Devil's Advocate? Vanity Kevin. Because we were talking with my friend about Al Pacino and Al Capone. Let's get to a coffee here. Carver, appreciate your coffee. And you can buy me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. It reads, according to my time travel sources, after Jesse Lee Peterson became president and saved America by expelling Congress and instituting a benevolent Christian monarchy, he chose to retire and focus on developing the perfect sweet potato pie. Unfortunately, he left a triumvirate of Bond experts in charge to manage the country. Hake immediately defected to China and started palling around with celebrities like Andy Lau and Jackie Chung, with only Nick and Joel remaining. Civil war soon broke out. Joel's ruthless totalitarian methods proved extremely effective, and he was able to conquer most of the region within only a few short years. But the heroic Anchor Baby did not give up. He led a band of brave rebels against Joel's evil army of teen thugs. Nick's forces had one major advantage in air superiority and were able to score several decisive victories at key battles, breaking through Joel's line and releasing his stranglehold on the outer territories. However, as they approached the heart of Joel's empire, it says the transmission ends there. Carver, I hope you're okay. Amazing stories from the future. I wonder, though, now that you've told us about what will happen, are we now in a different offshoot, in a different timeline? Will now the events foretold to happen, will they now not happen exactly as foretold because of our knowledge of it? Carver, you time-traveling madman, I appreciate your coffee. Joel in my chat is saying, why do I gotta be evil? Disavow. No, Joel, that's a matter of perspective. See, the people on the outside will always see you as the dictator, but you don't see that. You're the Il Duce. Il Duce, he looked at Italy. Of course, there were his detractors who called him horrible, deplorable names like dictator. But Il Duce, he was the father of Italy. He loved Italy, and he had the best in mind for the Italians. So it's a matter of perspective, man. Don't let him get you down. Okay. What do we got now? I was telling you about power. Let's get to power. Conservatives are like heroin addicts. They immediately get power and want to spend it on the first issue that comes to mind. The left understands that power is a currency that the first thing you should buy with it is more power. You got to get more of that passive income. What are you doing buying doodads? Did you even read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Why are you buying a car? Why aren't you investing? So he has this thread, and he expands on this, on his thoughts here, on what he sees as the difference between the left and the right, and how they use power, and how effective they are. And it's an interesting conversation, right? Because elections are coming up, and we wonder who's in charge. I talk about it often on my show. Are the people in charge? Who wants these wars, for example? Are we in charge? Voting, etc. And when these people tell you this is what we want to do, vote for us, why are things happening the way they are? Obviously, you get it. These are the questions that I think about sometimes. If I'm not thinking about cereal, Kit Kat cereal. Nice. As Curtis Yarvin pointed out on my show, continues Oren, if you want to win, you don't care about issues, you care about power. He says, if you want to win, you don't care about issues, you care about power. Once you have power, you can address all the issues you want. He says, okay, and he posts this interview he does with this Curtis Yarvin fellow, a name I'm somewhat familiar with. I think they call him Mold Bug or something like that. I don't know his significance, though, why he's so important in some of these conservative circles and what he did. But okay, Aaron continues here. He says, did the left run on open borders and trans kids? No, that wasn't their issue they ran on. Do you have open borders and trans kids? Yes. Why? Because the left secured power first and advanced its agenda afterwards, is what he says here. That's why they're so effective, and that's why they made happen what they want to happen. But it's mainly because they worried about power first. You get it. I find this an interesting thing to kind of smoke on for a number of reasons, because I'm looking at some of these things developing in America and the world, the left and the right, Democrats and Republicans, Biden, Trump, but also these kind of like, it's not so overt. They're even within those groups, it's breaking up. The whole establishment against Trump, really, and these different lines being drawn, almost revelatory lines at times. And people are, and so I'm seeing everything kind of, I'm seeing politics go around. I'm seeing, and so I think it's interesting to smoke on this. You see the ineffectiveness of Republicans. That's a reason why it's interesting. But also something even more recent and even in the news that you can point to that this relates to, like more overtly, more. It's just something near in history that we could point to. I'm talking about Trump, abortion. He recently made his stance on abortion clear, right? Leave it to the states. Power. How do you wield it? What it is to wield it effectively. Okay, so Oren says the left they're pretty cool for the way they do their power thing. Okay, hey, blacks, menthols, right? I know you love menthols. Hey, listen to me. We love menthols. You love menthols. Vote for me. I don't know. Power. It's an interesting thing, because I think it does speak to the effectiveness of the left. It is why they're effective. I do wonder if it's how we should operate. I'm even seeing in some of the comments of this tweet, there's, I think, what seem to be conservatives in the comments saying things like making fun of conservatives who would say something like, oh, we can't stoop to their level, stoop to the Democrats' level. Maybe I'm going to leave those things for you to smoke on, and maybe we'll get into that in a moment here. But speaking about power, as you smoke on that, Arizona, big changes in Arizona, they're saying. They're taking its law books back to the 1800s, says the skim. Warn, they ringing the bell, shouting, the patriarchy's coming. Arizona is taking its law books back to the 1800s. My body, my choice. Another day, another ban. The story. Arizona is taking its law books back to the 1800s. Abortion. Yesterday, the Arizona Supreme Court upheld an 1864 ban on nearly all abortions in the state. The law allows the procedure only if a pregnant person's life is at risk and makes no exceptions for rape or incest. Providers can face up to 5 years in prison if prosecuted. After the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the dormant Civil War-era law was called into question. The state's highest court decided that without the federal right to abortion, Arizona's near-total ban could be enforced. If it goes into effect, the measure would change the state's current law, which bans abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. So yeah, you can have it before that, but this one, should this 1864 ban come into effect, even those before 15 weeks will be come into question, right? And they're saying they're bringing them back to the 1800s. So you're following so far. Supreme Court. The skim here saying, where is it? It's far away from me. I should put it over here in front of me so I could read it, but I'm being obtuse right now. I'm being impossible. I just refuse to put it over here. The state's highest court decided that without the federal right to abortion, that's what I was looking for. They're talking about Roe v. Wade. That's the big change. It was a federal thing, federal versus state. Who gets to decide? Roe v. Wade was the law of the land after the Supreme Court handled that back whenever they did that. Okay, so you're following. You see what's going on. What else about this, real quick? The law, about the 1864 law. Let's see what NBC tells us. What exactly is this horrific law that's bringing back women to this archaic time? You can already hear people saying that, right? I'm not being crazy, right? You can already hear them say that. They're bringing us back to the 1800s. The law, which was codified in 1901 and again in 1913, outlaws abortion from the moment of conception, but includes an exception to save the woman's life. It's like, from what I just read on its face, come on, that's pretty reasonable. If this is supposed to be this Christian 1900s where women couldn't vote, it's like so crazy. They want to save the woman's life to have exceptions. You got to understand, this was like a Christian society, at least on its face. Now it's not even, in America, it's not even on its face. But this was just a more Christian society. Obviously, the laws would reflect something like that. Now, you may disagree with it now. I guess that's a different conversation. And I see calls coming in, 888-775-3773. But power on this topic of power. I'm seeing this kind of notion on the conservative side. And I don't know if Oren, I think he is conservative, so maybe he's evidence of it. This is how we should wield power. And there are pro-life people who are quite unhappy with Trump right now. Donald Trump reveals abortion positions as states should decide. He announced his position on abortion on Monday, ending months-long speculation about how he would handle the issue, how should he be elected in November. This is a big issue because, if you don't know, Republicans do not poll well on this issue. You got conservative women. This is the craziest thing. So-called conservative Republican women who are willing to, not just willing, they showed that when they got mad at Trump and turned on him in the midterms and in the election 2016. Let's be real, because a man decided to run. They just didn't want a man to run. That's what I'm saying. That's my take. There are conservative so-called Republican women who will vote against Trump because or a Republican, if they were to take a position, a pro-life position. That's how this is. That's how crazy this is. That's why this is a dirty territory for the conservatives, and it becomes will you side with morals or will you be strategic? Will you be moral or do you want to win? Are you going to let the left just keep winning, or are you going to be strategic, and are we going to make it happen? And I'm not saying that's a bad strategy, but let's just hold on one second. Hold on. Because there are pro-life people who are mad at Trump. I've seen some commentary, and they're just some random randos of people who say they're Christian, saying Trump's not a Christian for what he said. And this is so interesting because check it out. It's actually not even morally wrong. It's not you don't have to compromise here. You're not seeing the wisdom. You can't change people's hearts. You think you're God, thinking you can. Now you could say that something's wrong, and you can criticize a society that doesn't even call abortion wrong. Hey, call it what it is. Fine, we don't have to change people's hearts, but this is a society that doesn't even acknowledge things that are wrong and calls wrong things good and good things wrong. Well, you're going to get more of wrong and less of good. It's just arithmetic, my dear friend, or something. But look, at the same time, I think a man knows you can't change the hearts. You don't know, and you also just don't even know. And any attempt to do so is an evil act that would work against any desire of that anyways. A man has that wisdom and foresight that any attempt to do so would actually do the opposite. Now, why? Why? Because the motivation of trying to change someone's heart is always evil anyways. Well, you're not God. You're not understanding that if a liberal state wants to have their abortion, that is the moral position, actually. That is actually and yet call it wrong. You know what I'm saying? That is there's no compromise there. Is what I'm trying to say here about this story and power and what it is to wield it and who you should trust to wield it. What type of person you should trust to wield it. No such thing as conservative Republican women who vote or are on social media, I think is what Thomas is trying to say. Yeah, Kevin Howe. I think that's fair to say. He says the left-right battle is so old, I'm tired of it. I'm trying to communicate with the people. And if you wanted to spend some time on examining even what we mean by left, I think that really has evolved, at least in my life. It hasn't evolved. It is what everybody said it was, but it's deeper, right? It goes to the grandest conspiracy of all time. Satan and the beginning of time. He hates God. Okay. 888-775-3773. I appreciate the patience. How about we get to it? Let's get to calls. What am I doing? That's the story. Abortion, blah, blah, blah. Bada bing. If I remember, I'll just say it after. We got German, or is it Herman out of California? On the air. How you doing? And how do you say your name?
Hey, what's up? It's however you want to say it, Nick. If we're speaking English, it is German. But if you can roll that R, I accept the Herman too.
Well, I mean, I would
Whatever
like to agree
floats
with
your
you,
boat.
but you're just wrong. If you're speaking German, it's German, not English.
No. If we're speaking in English, it's German, right? Like,
No, if you're
that's how you
speaking in
pronounce the
English,
name.
it's English, and if you're speaking in German, it's German. I just got to disagree with you.
If we're speaking German, I think they normally say like German.
Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. I'm messing around. I appreciate your call. Herman, go ahead.
Man, I'm the kind of guy where if like I work in retail, so I get all kinds of answers when it comes to my name. So like, I'll get people saying, "Oh, I'm Korean," I'm like, cool. So whatever breaks the ice, dude.
No problem, sir. Well, go ahead.
So listen, you kind of honestly already said what I was thinking. You're so like, you're wise, man.
Don't tell me that.
But yeah, I pretty much was going to say, to that comment that someone said about, Republicans need to, be more like the Democrats when it comes to power grabbing and getting that power in D.C. or whatnot. But I really feel that the Republicans have or are acting in many ways like the Democrats, and probably took in the worst parts of them and adopted them. So I think that, the best thing to do when you're trying to set your ground and trying to make a point is to steadfast, and be there to point out, hey, look, I said this, But
I think
the
you're
thing
right.
about
Go
the
on.
Republicans is they've been, twisting, turning backwards for everybody and anybody instead of saying, hey, no, we don't roll with that, But because of that, now we don't even, there's so many people who, like, for example, I'm independent, man. I've been independent for a while. The only reason that I'm thinking about actually becoming a Republican is because California is so crooked that you have to, I went to vote last election, and I did the mail-in ballot, but I took it in. Anyways, the point I'm making is that in the mail-in ballot, they have all the people you can vote for and stuff, including Republicans. And I went in person to drop it off, and there was not a lot of people, so they asked me, hey, you want to just do it in person? And I said, oh, all right, I'll do it. But I found out that I couldn't even vote for any Republican candidate because the machines were set up. If you're independent, you can only vote for Democrat candidates or third-party candidates. So I was like, what's the point of me being an independent?
What the heck's the point of independent? Yeah.
Yeah, if I can't choose the other party if I wanted to.
And choose independent.
So
what?
Yeah, man.
I'm going to have to look into that. That's crazy.
Crooked. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, some racket they're running over here. But no, at the end of the day,
Can I comment on
that?
Sorry, I just think you're making a commentary. You're making me think of something. Please finish your point, though.
Yeah, the point is I guess, we need to stop with the flip-flopping. And really, I guess I do agree with definitely that's one thing about the Democrats. They don't doubt what they do. Like, oh, yeah, I do stand for that stuff, where Republicans will be like, oh, I don't know, So, no, if we stand against abortion, we stand against abortion, And Trump should probably be like, yeah, I'm against it. But at the end of the day, government versus church and state, right?
Would you fault him for any
Would
you fault him for any strategical stuff? Like for example, in what you just said, let's say for strategy reasons, he'll even avoid saying that. I'm not even gonna say it's wrong. I'm just gonna leave it up to the states.
I'm gonna say
would you even fault him for that?
I don't. I think that he, as a leader, needs to be aware that it's not just us Christians in this country, and it's never really been like that. Yeah. We've been a Judeo-Christian and we've gone way far from that. And it's a darn shame. But at the end of the day, if we want some real change in this country, it has to be a top-down situation. And I think about it too in many companies that I've worked at. It never works out if the top is not doing what the rest of the bottom is doing. Even if the bottom is busting their butt, they're doing what they got to do that's right.
Can you explain what you mean by top down?
So, for example, I used to work at a company that everybody at the bottom, including when it comes to managers, sales force, operations, everyone's doing what they got to do. But the person at the top is not. The person at the top is, think about Biden right now, right? Think about our country, how it's
Would you describe America like that?
Of course. I mean, I think,
who's the people at the bottom?
To, like, the biblical order, right? Like,
who are the people at the bottom in this case, in America?
Us, the workforce.
And would you say the people at the bottom are doing?
Class.
Are the people at the bottom in this case doing everything they're supposed to do?
That as well, they're not, because the reflection upstairs, right?
So this is how that's kind of how I see it. It's hard to say that we need a top down. I think there's an insight to have in both things here. I've heard people talk about how the elite and leadership of a country, it out of them flows so much.
Yeah.
And that's such an interest, like and monarchy. Anyways, out of that flows so much how the culture and mentality of a country, and yet at the same time, I truly believe in the people, a government by the people for the people. Here's how I see it. Here's how I see it.
Right.
I think it really is a reflection. I think it really is a reflection. I don't think it's like you change the top and you fix the bottom, or you fix the bottom, you change the top. It's just the bottom and the top, they reflect each other. They really are it's just all corrupt.
Yeah, I mean, I see it with, like, even friends of mine, and their families, and, my friends who are fathers, and they see how, the one who is a little bit more, sets his ground. You can see how their stuff is a little more order, where another friend that maybe, they're not as stern with certain things. You can see it's a little bit more loose around the house.
Interesting.
So
put it like this.
It's very,
Put it like this. I think about where my family's from, Colombia, and I look at the government, so corrupt, pay under the table, blah, blah, blah. Then I look at society and the way business is set up. It's corrupt. Everything's under the table. Pay them off, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's and then I realize, hold up, the people are like that too. Kind of a little shiesty, da, da, da. And I realize it's all deserved. It's all a beautiful story that all makes sense when you look at it.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? Because I come from immigrant. I'm a first generation, American, but my parents did it the right way, but they still fall victims to the Democratic propaganda, right?
Exactly.
That is, especially here in Los Angeles. But I tell my mom all the time, I'm like, hey, listen, like, we cannot identify with those kind of things, just because they have some things that are similar to you doesn't mean that's who you are. That's not your story.
That's why you got to overcome culture, big time.
Yeah. So
I love the point you made, though.
I'm gonna let you go.
Can I ask you one thing before you leave? Why are you thinking about becoming a Republican?
Just because I want to be able to vote if I go into the
that's right.
Thing.
And vote for what, though? Vote for who?
Just if anybody,
Really?
That's the whole thing.
Which Republican?
I don't know if
Name one Republican you want to vote for, and other
I
than Trump.
agree 100% with you. Let me
that was a question.
I don't even. I will say this. I don't even remember the last couple of people because I was just so pissed off. I mean, the whole thing is. I live in Los Angeles, man. So it's just all messed up over here. But I can't say I'm making an effect, but I try to think that I have, like, for example, my sisters who are my stepsisters. I have two older stepsisters. They went through LAUSD, did the whole higher education, went to Cal State. One of them works for LAUSD, 10-year plus. It's funny because she moved to Montrose, but she's the kind of girl that'll, like, spot out some stuff about, like, someone's being racist or something like that. She'll bite into all of that. But at the same time, she lives in, like, one of the wider areas in our neighborhood. It's just kind of funny. And I live in North Hollywood, where it's kind of like, a mixed bag, and
definitely not like in the movies.
So I don't think she'd move out here, and it's funny that, but at the same time, I understand where they're coming from, and I get it, that's where I don't push too much, but I try to be that person to kind of say, hey, look, you see, that's.
I just like questions. I just like asking questions. That's what I like to do.
Hey,
I don't need to push anything.
You, Nick.
I just like putting out a question.
You and Jesse and everybody and Hake. I love Hake, man.
Yes, sir.
Hake is my guy.
Heavyweight Hake.
I love that white man. But anyways, man, it's good talking to you. I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Joel as well and the whole crew. You guys are doing fantastic. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Call me again, sir.
God bless.
888-775-3773. You can call in. Appreciate that. I like what he was saying. It's funny how the weak rhino Republicans, the source of their failures is because they're acting like Democrats. And so what are these? You understand that they're frustrated and PO'd, but they're pissed off at the Republicans. And what do? They say, you're just not being Democrat enough. You got to be the biggest, baddest Democrat in the block. You got to be the biggest, you got to be you're just not angry enough. You don't want it enough. You got to be angrier than them. You see, that's why they're winning. Look at how angry they are. You're just not angry enough, which is true. That is a absolutely true statement. The Republican rhinos are angry just like the Democrats. They want similar things, but with a different flavor, a conservative, godly flavor. But they essentially want the same things. Oh, it's ego, false. But they're just not as angry and vicious enough and brutal as the left and the Democrats. So they will never get it their way. But how do you defeat that? Well, you could be even the most brutal, or you turn away from it all and you overcome the whole thing, I guess, huh? I don't know. This is the God-devil dichotomy, okay? Anyways, I don't know what to tell you. But isn't that funny that some people's solution is you got to just be as angry as the Democrats? No. What if you were steadfast? That's what, like my caller was saying, Herman. If you were steadfast, and I'm just kind of thinking off the top here, I'm thinking, why aren't you steadfast? And I look at my life, I want to be steadfast, but why not? Well, you're not connected, right? It's not. You can't do it yourself. You really need the true steadfastness, the source, the God here. Okay, you following the ramble? You following me so far? You're following why the Republicans have their weakness, and you're following why the tragic comedy of them thinking, I guess I'll never be perfect. I guess it's true what they say. I guess I'll never be perfect. And then in creeps the devil. You have to be angrier. You're just not getting enough. Look at your enemies. You need to be angry like them. In fact, angrier, and then you will win. And then you will win. Okay. You're following. Maybe you're following. Maybe you're lost. 888-775-3773. What's up, Rumble? How you doing, Jen? I've never seen that name. Appreciate it. Ohio Sentinel, DJ 2020. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Trump spoke about IVF, in vitro fertilization, as a positive thing, and that's troubling to me. Selective genetics is playing a dangerous game, and who knows where that goes. Oh, was he saying something like that? Yeah, I don't know. Spooky stuff. Selective genetics. You don't want to make super soldiers? It'll be amazing. It'll be beautiful. There will be clones, and they will be beautiful clones. The best great clones. Okay. What else did I want to talk about? Power. Kind of still fitting thematically here a little bit. Power. War. What is it good for? Genocide, they say, even. No less. Words. I want to get into a little something here. But let me get to Robert out of Kansas. Sir, I appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, what's up?
All is well.
Good. So you had a conversation, or you're talking about if a mother's life is at risk, then they have a carve out for, okay, then you can abort the baby. And I was thinking about that and like what it would mean from a male perspective if you had to make that call, right? Because I can't make that call as a woman, but as a husband to that woman, let's say, like what sort of say should you have? It's an interesting thing, right? So if you had a young wife and she could potentially produce, so many more kids, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Did I say something like that? Something about that's the correct way? If I did say something like that, I misspoke. I honestly don't know. And
well, no, I don't
know. On this whole exception on the woman's life and who should it really be up to and what say does the man say? I don't know. Because essentially what you're getting at is what you're leaving space for is for the husband to say, sorry, honey. Yeah, we're going with the kid.
Yeah, so if your wife was young, right? Let's say you had a 20-year-old and you could have 9 more kids, right? Like this one here, you could just, get rid of this kid and you can have 9 more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then let's say she's 35, she's kind of, she's a, geriatric pregnancy. And, she's going to have a
35.
Boy. Yeah, so she's going to have a boy, that, and you're like, well, babe, you already gave us 8 kids. We're going to have our 9th, 10th kid, whatever. We're just going to have to save this boy this time and let you go. Just I think it should be up to if the child is your property and the woman should be your property as well. and you should get to decide as a man to which one you're going to kill. You know, it's always given to the woman that she can decide that she can just kill her baby. You know, shouldn't we get to decide? You know, okay, I'd rather keep my son alive.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I'd rather keep my son or my daughter alive. They're brand new human beings, right? My wife has had 8, 9, 10 kids. She's used up. She's basically passed. I mean, women's use is that they can breed children. That's basically what they're good for. If they're not breeding children, they become whores, right? So, I mean, they're basically whores or they're mothers.
Is that not keeping it clean? I don't know if that's keeping it clean. I don't know.
I
may not be decent myself, so I don't know if that's clean or not.
I'm just saying, like, if their usefulness as a woman is past and they're no longer able to create new life,
I think this is a her body, her choice. You're not gonna like it, but I think my body, my choice. This is the part where it comes in. It finally comes into play. I think this is my body, my choice.
Well, if it was her body, then she would be the one who died. She would be the one who got aborted, right? So it's really the baby's body that she's aborting. She's not aborting herself.
Oh, wait,
but as a husband, as a father, as a man, and your property and what you can do with your property, which women used to be property back when society functioned. Yeah, they were property. They were the property of
what
their
makes you say that?
The ceremony of a wedding. You know, you guys go to weddings and you don't know why the father walks the daughter down and gives them to the groom because you don't understand what you're watching, right? You're watching an exchange of property between two men.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. How do you know that? Because you may be right. So,
how do I know that? Because I'm not an idiot.
No, yeah, I want to understand because you may be right. I'm not casting any doubt. I want to understand. How do you told me something I don't know to be true or not true, that marriage is and that women were seen as property is what you said. You're telling me that the ceremony of marriage is proof of that. Can you expand? Tell me what part of the marriage ceremony proves that women were property and were viewed as property in a general sense. Obviously, we're using generalities, but yeah, in a general sense, most women were viewed as property by men in a certain time. Go ahead. You were on marriage.
Yeah, well, now you're talking about tradition in this day and age. We call it tradition. It used to be the law. You know, you have to go
there was
to
the
a
law?
woman.
The law said women were property?
All over the world in different places.
Yeah, because you could be right. Is there something you could point me to? Really, the law called women property?
Absolutely. You have to go to a woman.
Where?
A woman's father. Okay, you have to go to a woman's father and you say, "Can I have your daughter in marriage?"
Right.
And that man will evaluate you as a man and say whether or not you can have her as your wife. If you have no resources, if you are not established as a man, he knows as a man you're not ready.
Right, but why does that make her his property? Why is that not just his daughter? I don't know.
Because
help me understand what part of what law because I've heard this before that women were just seen as property. And it's one of these overarching statements that I think people just throw out. Well, and which could be true. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm really leaving that open. You're telling me there's laws that said women were property, really, and it sounds like. And then you went to something else. I'll let you expand on that. Is there anything else you could say to like kind of show that? And sometime in history, men, on average, like generally, they saw women as property. Because so far, a father that. A father that handles the marriage of his daughter doesn't necessarily tell me that he saw her as property. It was just a different tradition. It was just how women were handled. But that he saw her as property? Help me understand that.
Help you understand?
Yeah.
If you had
children,
Nick, maybe you would understand if you actually had children.
I've never seen another person as my property. So, no, I don't quite understand that.
Whose property? Who do your son and daughter belong to, Nick? Do they belong to the government?
Well, no, I guess not.
Is that what you're telling me? Like, who do they belong to?
I'm not saying that.
You tell me now. The government's going to tell you they belong to them.
I may be responsible for them, but I just don't understand this whole belong word.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you create your children and raise them up and feed them and bring them into adolescence and adulthood, you know what? You did the work necessary for that to be your child.
I didn't even necessarily do that. I mean, I really just had the.
Okay.
I really just had the.
Who they belong to.
And it's actually debatable to even call that work. Many don't even call that work. Some call that play. It's debatable if I even did if I were to create any children, if I did any work. So I mean, I don't know what you know what I'm saying here, man. It's not even a joke. You don't even make the baby in the womb and all that. So yeah, you're saying belong. You're saying, Nick, who does the kids belong to? I'll answer you. I'm not sure. I don't think it belongs to me. I know I'm responsible because I made him and all that. It just seems like it's correct. The law says it. But yeah, go on. So far, I've answered you. It doesn't seem like they belong to me. Why does it seem like they belong to you?
No,
is there anything else you want to say?
Your kids don't belong to you. Your kids don't belong to you, Nick. I don't know what your reasoning would be. I guess they're autonomous entities, and if they want to do whatever they want to do, that's
what's
fine.
Belong? What does that mean? So are you telling me children are property too?
Well, I would say that the order of God from Jesse, right? You believe everything Jesse says, like a moron. So
yeah, I believe everything he says. I don't know if I'd say I'm a moron for that.
So let's say that the order of God is right. Okay, so what is it then? I mean, just what?
But Robert, hold on, calm down, man. I'm not even fighting you. I really want to know. Because it could be, you've heard me say it multiple times. Notice I'm not even, you would know if I'm confronting you. I'm like, nah, dude, you're wrong. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. You would know. Notice that I don't even know if this is true. And I just want some evidence to like maybe kind of show me that that's how men saw women. And so far you haven't really shown me, and maybe I'm the obtuse one. But how about you give it another go? Do you have another piece of evidence that maybe you can bring up that's interesting, and then we can move on? How about
another piece
my
of
friend?
Evidence to show you that women were considered to be property
yes.
in even recent history? What do you mean, Nick? You want me to
at any time?
explain
Sure.
history to you?
Sure.
You want me to explain the Roman Empire to you?
Why so much vinegar? So yeah. Go ahead. No, don't worry about that statement. Yes, explain, because it's maybe true. What happened with the Romans, and then we'll move on.
Right,
what about the Romans? Can you? What about the Romans? Shows you that they saw women as property. And go.
Well, let's not go back to the Romans.
But you brought it to the Romans, and this is so interesting. It sounds like you have. It sounds like you know something about the Romans that I don't know, and that they saw women as property. I'd like to know.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's Egypt or Babylon or Greece or early America, Nick. It's all the same thing. When society functions, it functions, and it's based on a certain order of God, which I know that you know about, and you're sitting there acting like you're an idiot, that you don't know that women are below men.
I know that.
And that children are below women.
I know that.
Yeah, you don't have children unless you have a woman. You understand? Women have.
But we're not talking about that. You're talking about property. We're not talking about the order. Okay. Why are you bringing the order into this all of a sudden?
Well, why am I bringing what functions in this world compared to what we see today? That's what your show is about.
No, this is what you're. I see what you're missing. No, that's not the order.
They went wrong.
No. That's something else, man. You drop that. That's not the order. Just drop that. That's just some like. Just drop that, man. That's just some personality of like. That's just some like. Let me be sincere with you, Robert. That's just like some like. I'm strong. No more women are. That's it. No more women. You're done. Your time is done. Your time, women being evil and thinking you run everything. It's done. That personality, you got to drop it, because now you're thinking crazy things like property and stuff. No, there's a right way to be the head of women, where they can't go with their evil ways, my man. But seriously. Yeah, drop all that, because that doesn't make sense. Property. Now you're thinking all these things. Now you're thinking children belong to you. That's why families are so messed up. You're thinking children belong to you. You're thinking they got to act a certain way when they have their own personality given to them by God, and they're going to be their way they are. And there's so many problems with that, thinking people belong to you, man. It's just the wrong thinking, man. What do you think about that? And then we'll move on.
Whatever does belong to me, my mom and dad belong to me, Nick. I don't know what you think about that, but they're my mom and my dad. They belong to me. Even if I don't like them, they're still my mom and dad. Right? That belongs to me in life, even if it's bad. Right? My children belong to me. Those are my children. You understand? You're talking about what belongs to me.
So what's your question, Robert?
My life belongs to me.
Nick.
Wait, calm down. What's your question, Robert?
So if you create children,
if you
as a
calm down, I'll
man
let you ask
or
a question, and then we'll move on.
Well, if you're a man or a woman, you're a mother or a father. If you're a mother, getting to the other gender, if you're a mother and you harbored a life in your body and you made it and you fed it from your breast and you then took care of it and made it into a human being, that's your kid. That's your, adult when it gets older. Like you made that thing as a woman or a man.
Yeah, semantics, words. I've expressed what I thought about those words. Is there anything? Is there a question you want to ask me?
There's not.
Or do you want me to answer the initial thing about the woman?
About abortion.
Yeah.
Abortion.
Shall I answer that?
Whether or not
the mother's life.
Whether or not a man should have the say over life the same way
I don't think so.
does.
I don't think so.
You think that a woman should be able to decide who to kill, but a man has no say?
When it comes to, if you're asking me personally, just what I think here.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, like, is it the child's life or the woman's life? If her life is in danger, I mean, you're allowed to speak your mind, but I don't know. It just sounds to me like
yeah,
it's her life.
So
Honestly,
the woman is the judge. The woman is the judge, and that's your decision. That's who lives or dies based on what
I share. Look, and it's
says.
funny too because you're talking to someone that kind of mold this around, and I share maybe a little bit something like I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing if the mother sacrifices her life for the child, right? But now I may leave some space for that, but I don't know. I gotta say, I don't know. I gotta say, I don't think I get to decide for her. And I just don't know. I don't know. I think it's a tough one, and I hope I'm never in that situation. Robert, thank you for your call, sir. Oh, I was hoping he'd say bye. We got Jaime out of Minnesota. You're on the air, sir. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, Nick?
All is well, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, this is a pretty good topic.
Yeah. Well, it's got people engaged, looks like it.
Yeah. What was that?
What's that?
Hello?
We got you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because my wife and I, we're in our mid-30s, and we had the talk about if there were any complications with our first child. Mm-hmm. And we talked about abortion and if it was her life or the kid's life, what would we do? And we talked that out over, Mm-hmm. It wasn't just her decision or just my decision. We talked it out.
Dang.
But she and I were, we're of the same mind on that issue. We're against abortion, but we still had to, we still decided to talk to each other about it and not just assume, because we're good. We got God in our hearts, and we don't have anger, and we want to do. I think that's what God would want, is for us to talk it out and weigh the options. Now that didn't happen. We had the baby; he was healthy and he was perfect and all that. So we didn't think about it too much because why? We're not there yet.
You're saying you think God wants your wife to sacrifice herself for if it
No. To have the conversation as a husband and a wife.
Gotcha.
Hey, we got to talk about this, and right. What are we going to do? Not just decide on your own, whether you're a woman or you're a man.
How does that kind of conversation go? If I may ask.
It went pretty well. We both are anti-abortion.
So honey, you're going sorry to be so glib about this, but so honey, you're going upstairs, you're going home early, right? Okay, maybe that's not that funny. Let's move on.
It wasn't quite like that, but the point is that she didn't take the decision for herself, and I didn't take the decision for myself. We talked it over.
It sounds like a reason. I was thinking that too while talking to him. That I'm just thinking like, well, I think if this was a conversation that's going to happen, I'd hope it's like a conversation between two people and not just like only I decide or only I decide. Like, and we're gonna fight about it. It's like, holy crap.
Right. And I couldn't tell if that guy was trolling or not.
No, I think he's sincere, and I think the questions are fine questions. I think there's people. I think they were fine questions.
But no, back in the day, I'm sure there were probably one or two guys out there thinking that women were property, but it wasn't. That
about
was
the
probably
property
the
stuff
exception
too.
instead of the rule.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
You know, people they're not property. My son, you know, he's his own. You know, he belongs to himself.
Yeah.
Well, he belongs to God, but in the way that, you know, this guy was talking about.
Yes.
Even though he's only 4 months old, he is his own person.
You're
right. And this whole thing with, I feed this person, I clothe them, I keep them safe in a roof, so that means it's mine. That's no.
Right.
That's it's my responsibility to do those things. And, you know, there's a lot of men that don't take that responsibility, and the government does it for them. That person doesn't belong to the government.
Yep.
All of a sudden.
Parents drop that right away, too, if their kids aren't how they want. That's not how I raised them. That's not my kid. So they're all yours up until they're not. About this, I wanted to say something else.
And on those points, I thought he was being facetious.
Oh, on the property and the...
Yeah, I thought maybe
Here's
he
the
was
thing.
being facetious.
Here's the thing. I just think that's like that propaganda a little bit to even think of history like that. It's like how they talk about slavery. It's how they talk about slavery. Oh, it's just a bunch of white people cracking their whips, like get on over there, like, and it's just a caricature. It's a movie. It's a fantasy retelling of history. We're gonna put you in cages and we're not gonna feed you and we're gonna look. You understand me here? It's just I can't go along with just. It just seems like propaganda. Oh, we're all property. Well, I'm sure you can point to many things in history. I'm sure that women were maybe treated a certain way, and there were all sorts of levels. There was the people who meant it well, who meant it bad, but men saw women as property in history is propaganda.
Nah, man.
That statement?
Feminist
Come on.
Propaganda. It's a way to sell books and feminism.
Were women viewed even different? Were women seen in a different role even? All these things are true, but most men saw women as property. It's just too propaganda of a statement. Thank you for understanding. Jaime, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I think we ought to bring the patriarchy back.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's where, you know, everybody's going to find their peace is back in the patriarchy.
You know what that means, though?
Yeah, I see.
Are you sure you're ready?
What is it?
No more constitutional republic.
Oh,
monarchy. You're saying you want to bring back the patriarchy,
I'm not saying
right?
the monarchy. I thought
that means ruling.
That
means ruling family. That means ruling emperors, bred and a noble class of men, ruling men, bred from birth for this very responsibility of ruling, is what you're talking about. If you really want to bring back the patriarchy. I'm sort of laughing, but it is kind of, I think I'm not totally out of base here. The patriarchy comes from that kind of notion.
I didn't realize that meant all that. I thought patriarchy meant just the men being in control.
Exactly. That's why when Trump becomes president, I mean, I'm just throwing this out there, Mr. President, if you're listening, obviously you do the things you got to do and you follow the law, but it'd be awesome if he just became dictator, if he just became emperor.
Yeah. So bring the patriarchy back. Let's try that again.
Right on. Appreciate your call, Jaime. Call me again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, y'all ain't ready for the patriarchy. Yeah. The truest patriarcha. Bring back the patriarchy. The father in charge. Are you ready for patriarchy? Are you sure? Shall we break down the word patriarchy? Monarchy. Patriarchy. Key. Maybe we could do that one of these days. Monarchy, give me a king for 100 years. Troy, you sound like the Israelites. What's up, Troy? Right on. You sound like the Israelites clamoring for a king. Weren't they punished, or weren't they given a king and punished for that or something like that? Didn't God look at his chosen people where they're like, hey, you don't need a king? And they're like, come on, we want to be like everybody else. Patriarchy talk. Power has been a theme today. And I'm looking at the chat, and it looks like people are smoking on it. We got Steve out of Ohio. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Very well, sir. How are you, Nick?
All is well. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. This topic's hot, man, for sure.
Nice.
I wanted to ask you, when you said a patriarchy would destroy a constitutional republic, do you have more? What's your thought on that?
Okay. I'm being a little extra. That statement on its head, a patriarchy will destroy a constitutional republic, is a bombastic, dramatic statement for effect. So let's not put too much stock into that exact statement there.
Yeah, we'll disregard.
Yeah, because it was born from just thinking about patriarchy and its roots in the monarchy, and how the monarchy isn't a monarchical system against sort of a constitutional republic, is not a republic really. Isn't it really a liberal value sort of?
All right. Oh, okay. Well, you feel me on this.
Okay.
I worked on restaurants a lot too. I was a cook for a while too, so I feel you. You might feel me.
Okay. Big time.
So, did you ever have female line cooks?
Yes.
Was it like what percentage rate would you say?
Very few, but I'd say out of all the restaurants, like 10%. 10% of the kitchens that I worked at had like. What I mean by 10%, I mean like I always had like maybe one female line cook coworker.
Like
out of all of them.
Like, was that different restaurants?
Yes, at almost every restaurant there was maybe one. Many restaurants had none, but yeah, there was maybe one every now and then.
Yeah, because I was going to say in Ohio, I mean, like maybe a bar would have like a female cook, but beyond the point. Okay, so you would say almost the same thing for servers then, like, it's predominantly women and maybe one or two males serving, or? Yeah,
I'd say it's a little, in the years I worked though, the percentages are way more equal in front of house. It's more like 60-70% women, and I'd say 40%, 35% men. But it's way more significance in you see what I'm saying here? You see men playing there in the front of house more than in the women playing in the back of house.
Right. So my whole point to this is, like, in anywhere in the Constitution, does it say woman or does it say man?
Man.
So it, like, the rules are delegated to the man, and like the woman had no say. And I mean, I think women's voting rights came after with Susan B. Anthony. I don't know what year she did her thing and got the women's rights, 18 something. But no, those jobs are delegated to the person strongest for it. So if you got to kiss butt in the front of the house and make people feel at home, yeah, that's perfect for a woman.
And some men. But yeah, you're right. Follow.
If you're slaying in the trench, dude, you need a medium rare, and then like it didn't even hit the grill. You know what I'm saying? Like that a man's got to step in and be like, bam, okay, give me that bun.
Give me if you need to. And while you have 6 other steaks and burgers to handle.
Right. Yeah, and your fries are burning, and the server's like, "Oh, I dropped the food."
Oh, I dropped the food. Can you drop fries? Oh, how long on table 7 when it's cooked was my favorite thing to say.
Right. Yeah. All right. But either way, I'm glad you saw all that for sure.
Right on, sir.
But so women are they have their position and men have their position. Man, we need to go back to like the Constitution and start there. That's what I would say.
You're saying the Constitution delineates that roles of men and women, or at least harkens to a time when they did.
Right. I think like when dude earlier called and he said, the father hands off the woman down the aisle to the new husband. Like, I mean, that kind of made sense to me. Like, you know, women they knew their role. Maybe they weren't property.
That doesn't make them property. Yeah, I'm following what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what I was trying to say. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, dope. All right.
Yeah, that is pretty much what I was trying to say. I was trying to accept these differences in roles, but yeah, this was, and it's not even. I'm not even trying to. I was also trying to leave space. You filling up a bottle of water, or are you going to the bathroom?
Yes, sir. No, I was filling water. Sorry.
I was just trying to leave space too, because I wasn't trying to get triggered by the word property, because maybe he didn't mean it badly. But you know where I'm coming from, right, guys? It's like we got to have love. These people are people. These are women they are women, and is the evil in them? Is the evil in them, not them? What were you saying,
Nick? Do we need women?
Do we need women? Who? Men?
Oh yeah. I'm asking you. Do we need women?
No. For what? For to continue. To continue, yes. To continue our society, species.
Yeah, so we need them. All right. That's all I had, my man.
Right on, Steve. Appreciate your call. Call me again.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
What's funny is there was some video, I think, that Sean played on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And there's some guy going around asking the women and men that. The women, they ask them, do we need men? They all say, no. Ew, no. And when you ask the guys in that video, all the guys were like, yeah, of course, women are awesome. They're beautiful. And you can kind of tell that in between, you know, they're like beautiful. They're hot. They're talking about sex. Isn't it everything? It's all there, huh? That's what men mean when they say we need women. And they're not wrong. That's what you need them for, to continue society. But, what else do you need each other for? Life is a solo thing. The things you got to overcome is a solo thing. Really, only anybody else is in the way of that. Your husband. Think about that. They can point you the right way. They could be an asset, I guess, in that journey, sure, but oftentimes people aren't. People are actually in the way. Okay, what are we talking about? 888-775-3773. What shall we do? What shall we do today? What shall we do today? What shall we do today? What shall we do? Lloyd Austin. I didn't think I was gonna do the whole Pippi Longstocking, but I did. Okay, you know what? Why don't we keep rocking these calls? Art, Ohio, on the air. Appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, what's up with my brother?
How you doing, sir? All is well. No complaints here.
Man, you know I'm back in full effect or whatnot.
Yeah.
Man. I got my MC Hammer pants on or whatnot, the gold joints, and I'm moonwalking backwards right now. So
big
hammer time.
Let's go.
First thing first. What's up with that last caller? He sound like where was he from? The one caller was talking about the wife and the kids was property.
Oh, I forget. But yeah,
he sound like one of your fellow Californians.
I forget.
Yeah,
where he's calling from.
Yeah,
not important though. We remember the call.
Was he a Trump supporter or what? He's a Biden supporter?
I think he's I think he may have some. I forget. He may be a Trump supporter. He may have criticisms. Go ahead. What are you trying to say?
Yeah, his wasn't none conservative about that conversation. Or I mean, it was, but what he kind of was getting kind of smart with you as far as because you was I ain't gonna say you was acting.
I don't think he meant anything by it. But most people get when people get emotional or get like excited or something. I don't think he meant it. Personally, I don't think he meant anything personal by it. If you ask me,
not personally, but
yeah. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
That liberalness is coming out. It was spilling out of him. I don't think he kind of.
Can you describe what exactly was the liberalness? Because I think I may agree, but I want to know if we mean the same thing.
Because when you were saying like you was trying to explain the property, I understand what he was saying about the property, but it ain't the property. It's that the man is supposed to be the head of household, And when he went back to what he was saying, ain't that what you agree that Jesse be saying, da da this, da da that? He called you.
Yeah.
He called you. Now I don't know what name he did, but it was some liberal kind of talk or whatnot. And for the most part,
I took no
he
offense.
right about what he. Huh?
Go ahead.
Nah, for the most part, he was right about what he was saying or whatnot. It is where he don't understand. I think he do understand. I think he was kind of trolling you or whatnot. That's what the liberals and how the progressive and the liberal females, black and white, they think that we're their property or whatnot. They think that we're supposed to be in the house cleaning, and he's using that key word or whatnot instead of saying the head of household or whatnot. And I feel let's take the feelings out. I think he was being funny or whatnot.
Do you think there's anything wrong with him saying women are property, or what do you think about that?
Yeah. I got a problem with it or whatnot, because just as Jesse say or whatnot, instead of you just calling it evil, good, and evil, you want to throw the term in when somebody's being evil, you want to switch like the Democrats and call it racist. You see what I'm saying? So instead of you just saying head of household as the Bible says, or the man is the hedge and supposed to put the hedge around the family, you try to change it and say property, which these liberal baby killing liberal progressives, they don't like that term or whatnot.
That's interesting, and I don't want to use words that people are using it like that in an evil way. Propaganda words. Yeah. Oh, but here's the thing. Here's my problem with the word. Here's my real problem with that. I really don't. Here's my what I really, I guess my only real, if I have an issue, I guess at all, with this property thing is because what do you do with property? What can you do with property? Anything. Property just does what you could do.
Sound like a car to me.
And it's like, wait, hold on. Well, then let's put this into context. In a marriage, let's say you got a wife. Let's say you have to pay attention, babe. Honey, you got to watch yourself and you got to forgive. And let's say, what do you do if she says no? Like, help me understand. You see, it's just a misusage of the word. It's just a misusage of the word. You know, honey, you can't do. Honey, you know what? You gotta. That's evil. You can't do that. And she says no. What do you do?
Well, I mean,
what do you do?
I mean, it's a starting and an ending point everywhere. That ain't no good look when the man or the female starts going against what they started the relationships off of and the boundaries that they set when they started the relationship off. I mean, I just feel like, or I think that means the relationship is bound to fail in the future.
Can you force her? Honey, I think you should forgive. She says no. Can you force her?
Nah, you ain't. No.
Even though you're keeping her best interests in mind, even though you're treating her like so-called property, but you're not like the world says. You're not this evil person. You actually have her best interest in mind. Honey, you have to forgive. And she says no. Aren't you just out of luck there? Doesn't the word property have a limitation at that point? It's kind of the only point I'm trying to make, I guess. That's really the only point I'm making.
I don't expect you to be like, oh, I'm throwing you in the figure four and I'm a power bomb you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I agree with you, but it shouldn't no relationship be like that or whatnot to where a person is saying, It depends. It depends in what context and what situation what you talking about. Because some situations, every situation ain't the same, and some situations might be something small and petty, and some situations might be big.
I'm not just gonna say never. I hope I become and am the kind of person who wouldn't do something like this. But man, just thinking about this, I'm tired just even thinking about it. That have to be in a life where I'm going to try and convince my wife about something. Honey, you got to be like this. That's just wrong. No, you know what? Be you. Be you over there and destroy your life over there. I don't know what to say, but I'm not going to fight.
Let me give you an example. And this is something that's serious versus something that's small. Something serious would be that, okay, your kids is going to a school or whatnot, and they in there trying to teach them that boys can wear dresses, and they got a transgender teacher in there trying to read to them with a thong on. And you as a man, you like, nah, honey, we not sending our kid to that school. We're going to take him out. And she like, no, he's going to stay in that school. Now, that's something serious. You see what I'm saying? And that's going to lead to more problems down the road or whatnot, and let alone.
But what am I supposed to do there?
That's a serious situation or whatnot, because if I'm looking at, like, if you willing to bend the rules or whatnot and let your kid be in a position that, it's
I'll say no.
Huh?
I'll say, no. I'll say no. I'll say no. But you're telling me in this hypothetical, the woman's headstrong, she's doing it anyways. Don't you know the law is on the woman's side? So tell me, what am I supposed to? And I get. Wait, sorry. Respond, please. My apologies.
Nah, you cool. You kind of hit me with a hard one right there. I wouldn't be like, I was first say you just try to work through it or whatnot, but
yeah,
that's something you got to work through quick and in a hurry or whatnot, because that's a serious situation. Versus she just saying, no, I don't want that Coca-Cola or something. You know what I mean? Something small like that. That's something petty. That's a little, little small stuff. But yeah, but no, I did that. The last caller we was just talking about, one more thing.
Please, go ahead.
I agree with him on that position where he was basically saying that females are basically just, the only use they're here is for them to reproduce for kids. Otherwise, that they really have no other use. So instead of them, you want to kill a kid that ain't had a chance to lose his life. No, they should, instead of killing the kid, no, if y'all want to do all these abortions, no, they should be trying to kill y'all, the female that had the kid. And you as if, and then they're going to be mad because they're going to be like, well, hold up, you trying to kill me, a grown human being, versus us, well, you trying to kill a kid, and vice versa. So if you think it's cool to kill a kid, then it should be cool to kill you as a female. And I agree with that. Like that caller was saying that.
But that's just, isn't that just pettiness and being vindictive? Well, you think you get, isn't that just like, so that's the basis of your morality? Well, you think you get, I get what you're saying, and I think it paints a picture. It paints a picture where you're like, wow, it's making me think of stuff. But hold on, let's, is that really your position? Do you think that's like the moral thing? Well, you know what I'm saying here? Like, because she thinks it's her body, her choice. Well, it's my marriage, my choice. And guess what, honey? You're dead. You're dead. And the basis of your morality is because she did it, so I get to do it. Like, I get the picture you two are trying to paint. It's making people think, I'm sure, but that can't be the basis of our thinking.
Well, my thing is this, and all in all, should nobody?
It's just wrong. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, nobody should be getting killed, but y'all thinking it's cool for you to go against the Bible and kill babies. So why not just let you get killed then? If you want, that's what I'm saying. And then maybe after you see that all these females is dying or getting killed or aborting the grown females or whatnot, then that'll maybe open your eyes to make you think that, well, maybe I shouldn't be trying to kill babies. That
would be an interesting thing to confront, huh? If they had to flip the tables on them on My Body, My Choice, where it suddenly becomes like what you're saying, that'd be an interesting thing to confront. I wonder how many women are ready for that one. Art, man, a pleasure as always. Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we move the wheels here?
No, I just want to jump in real quick, but
right
thank
on,
you.
Sir.
I appreciate you. I'll catch you later, man.
Call me again. Right on. That would be a one to confront. Kaya, what's up, Kaya? North Carolina in my chat. She says, the word property doesn't bother me because a marriage is between the man and the woman. If she knew the expectation in her marriage, then she would know she was viewed as property. Interesting commentary here, Kaya. I don't know if people should have a problem with the word property. It makes me think of the women who have a problem with the word obey. And it's funny how women have a problem with certain words and not others. And I think the problem with certain words and not others points to that. It points to something quite interesting. And I think it's that many women, they have an idea in their minds of what certain things are versus to what other people think. And I think women and all people, really, they do this with all things, even things like Christianity and marriage, things that are so good and perfect. They'll even take that and think, yes, marriage, man over woman. But a man doesn't act like this, and a man acting like this doesn't mean he's over me, and I'm never going to listen to a man that does this or that. Whatever. And it brings all that into question. I don't know if you should have a problem with the word property. Maybe I'm being feminine for having a problem with the word property. I made myself clear. It's really just that notion. You can't change people's hearts, and also we were talking with Robert, right? We were talking with Robert about he was like, we should be able to kill him and blah blah blah. Interesting points, Kaya. Interesting points. Appreciate that. Yeah. Why are we having a problem with a word? Property. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Smoke on it. Even still, if it's not your situation, that's not your issue to fix. Right on. Right on, Kaya. Appreciate that. What else are you saying here? Property. Being property is fine when the owner is righteous. Women hear these words and know that they can't comply, so they get triggered at the notion when they're not even in this position. A true wife has no issue with the leadership of her husband. She takes the direction because it's what she agreed to. Thank you for those comments, Kaya. Appreciate you being in the chat. Okay, folks. It's pretty much the show. Is that truly the show? Is that truly the show? I appreciate the support. You guys have been super chatting. Let's see these last few super chats. Some I may have missed. Hold on. We got Lord Bibby. You hit me with one at the beginning of the show. Main event ankle baby time. You rock, man. Thank you for that. Santino coming in with another super chat too. Says, the Lord found the blood of women was so evil that he had to drain the blood once a month to level her out. Do you disagree, Nick? Wait, hold on. Are you playing around or asking me seriously? Because if you're playing around, this is hilarious. If you're not, then I have to be like, wait, where did God say that? What did he mean? And then we lose all comedy. I appreciate the super chat, said Tino, as always, and all the support from everyone. That's the Anchor Baby show. More Anchor Baby tomorrow, but not before we do Bible Thumper Thursday. The Hake Report, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Joel Friday, TV tomorrow. Last show of the week, but we'll be back on Monday. Do not fret. Some people, every Thursday comes around, people are like, you're not coming. Is this the end, Joel? And they're full of fear until he comes back on Monday. And then, of course, American Anchor Baby, noon tomorrow. Don't miss it. I appreciate it as always. Take care, folks. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.